Cool. So we just saw how to marshal and unmarshal. And now we're going to look at encode, decode. So I'm going to do a new directory here, O4 encode. And I need to think about this. How am I going to do it? Because I need to encode to some sort of, like encoding means I'm going to send it to some writer. So if I look to encode up here, encoder wants a writer, and then I'll have a pointer to an encoder, and I'll encode and give it the data to encode. So where am I going to send it? I think sending it to, I don't know. What do you think? Sending it to the web and a web page? Does that sound good? We'll send it to the web. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can build that. Main, hp.listen and serve, colon 8080, nil. So we're listening on port 8080 and serving on port 8080, and there's default servmux is the nil. hp.handle func, and a pattern, and index, or whatever we want to call it, and func index. Takes a writer, hp.response writer, and a pointer to hp.request. And so we got a writer. And then what we're going to do here is when we encode, we're going to get back an error. And so from JSON, new encoder, give it a writer, and then we're going to do encode, and we need to give it data. And if there's an error, println error. So let's give it the data to encode. And we did this before. Type person struct, first and string, and last string. And then we could do here p1 colon equal, and I'll just go copy this. So let's see what happens. This is 04. So it encoded it and sent it right to my web deal. I went to localhost. That's cool, right? So now how we want to do decode. How are we going to do decode? Because decode is going to receive something from a reader. So we need a reader. And it'd be nice if we could still do this one on the web, just for fun. So let's try it, okay? So copy this. 05 decode. And now we're going to decode this stuff. So call us whatever you want. And let's see what decode wants. New decoder gives decoder decode interface error. So error colon equal json.new decoder, and takes a reader, and decode and takes the data. And I think it's going to be the address. And then we check that error. This type IO reader cannot use R. A type HTTP request as type reader, IO reader. HTTP request, I thought that implemented the reader interface. Body IO read closer. IO read closer. Let's go look at the read closer thing for a second. For client requests, nil. So body, there we go. Body is has read closer. So it's just the body that we want to read. So the body's, you know, in plain English, the body could be read, is readable. And read closer as a reader, which is the IO reader interface. IO read closer on the request. So we need the body. That makes sense, right? We're not going to read the whole request with cookies and everything. We just want to read the body. That's readable, so it implements the reader interface. It can be read. And then we decode and put it into the data. And I put the address of the data there, just thinking that that's going to work like unmarshal. So let's just look at that, decode. And decode reads the text JSON encoded value from its and stores the value pointed to by V, right? Stores it in the value pointed to by V. So now how are we going to get a page to send that data? How are we going to get a page to send that data? Just thinking about this for a second. So what happens if we, what are some of the things we've learned about send there? We want to write something. We're writing it. The writer is sending it where? Sending it to the user's web browser, right? How do we send something to catch? So TPL is going to be a variable that stores a value from package template, type template, a pointer to that. And you know this. Init TPL is going to be equal to template.must and template.parse. There's like a really loud movie playing next door. Parse glob, and then templates /star.go HTML. I feel like I'm in like a movie theater. And so now I can put my, I'm going into, no, decode, that's right, I'm in the right place. New directory, who watches a movie that loud? Through the wall, it's like too loud. And there's templates with an S. And new file, and this is a send.go HTML. pow, and then in send, we want that to be sent. So tpl.execute template to the writer, and the template name is send.go HTML, and the data is nil. Execute template, writer, name, data. So that template's going to be executed, and when we go to send, and we can just put here, we are now H1. We are now going to send data to the catch path. And if we wanted to, we could have a little fun. And we could say body, HTML body, H1. And we could say that content padding is 0, border is 0, margin is 0. And then we could say body is height, 100 viewport height, and display, flex, and justify content, center, and align items, center. And we could say H1, font size, I don't know, 6 rem. And body, we could do background image. And let me go find it before I hit complete there. There's a really cool VW coffee van. Look at this. Oh man, there's a lot of them. That's so cool. Like here's like a little food truck where you could just get coffee at your VW van. Or another little food truck. Isn't that cool? These old VW van coffee trucks. But out of all these, I think this one's sweet. So I'm just gonna like get this image, save image as EW. Is that the Scooby-Doo van? Shown Finder. Copy that. Come here. Oh crap, I'm not serving images. I'm not going to put an image back there. Or you want me to serve images?
Yeah.
Just one.
Why not just hardcode the URL to where it's already being posted?
Alright, that's easier. It's a crazy long URL. Background image, and then background attachment fixed, and background size, cover, and background repeat, no repeat, and cover file, background attachment, image, repeat, size, blend mode, clip, color, origin, position, center. Cool, let's see it. Are we in 05 now? We're in 05. We're now going to send data to the catch path. And I'm going to change that text color white and 8 and max width 75 EW. Isn't that funny? 75 EW. And text align the center. See ya, Robert. That's fun. So now we need to send that data. We're going to do that with JavaScript. And we need a XML HTTP request. Do we use backticks or single in JavaScript? We're already using double quotes. We'll go with singles and see what happens. And we could console log that just to see what we have. So new XML HTTP request, which is also known as ajax, asynchronous JavaScript, and XML. Right? XML is extensible markup language. It's what people used before JSON. And so now if we're at a website and we want to send data back to a server, we could do that with JavaScript. And so we're taking that JSON and we're going to create a new XML HTTP request. And this one's going to just be get, I guess we're posting data, post. And the process will be, we're sending it to catch. So we open that and then we send the data. That's it. It's JavaScript. I'm no black belt at all in it. I'm a total white belt in JavaScript. JavaScript string quotes. Single quote, double quote. Those are JavaScript strings. When you use double quotes or single quotes in JavaScript. So it looks like we use single quotes. All right, let's run it and see what happens. Localhost, there's that. Oh, we aren't doing anything with it when we catch it so far. So we catch it here, and now we just need to print it out to our console. Right? Or if we wanted to, we could send it back to the web. You want to do that? Let's send it back to the web. So we'll print it to the console, and we'll also create a new template here, which is catch. And then in here, all makes sense to y'all? That part? What I'm going to pass in is this new template up here. I'll do my TPL execute template writer, and then catch.go HTML and nil. And then inside catch, I'll pass in that data. The data I'm going to pass in is XP, which is a slice of persons. So each one of these, I'll have the person information. That'll give me each person here, and then I print out the person information. I could also do it like Let's see what happens. Okay, there's that, and there's send. And, well, it should have written into the console. So we caught it. And we converted it, and we wrote it to the console. The problem with what I just did was, like, now when I go to catch, right, the data's not going to be there. So that's interesting because it actually sent the data to catch, and catch executed, but my browser wasn't the one that asked for catch. It was the post. So one way I could change this code in catch is I could do this. Just thinking about where I would store that for it to persist. It'd have to be outside of the function. And so, you know, like if this was data, I'd stick it in the database or whatever, but I could also just have, I need a slice of people index. What am I looking at? I'm totally in the ajax file. I'm like, this code does not look at all what I wrote. What is this code doing? I'm in a different file. So this one right here, let me close that one. I could just move my person out here and do var xp as a person. That gives me a, and now that person will persist in my program. So when it gets decoded, it'll put it in there. And I could do here if request method is equal to hp.method post. And we could do this code. Right? If it's coming in as post. Which will store the data in that XP. And if request method is equal to hp.method get, we could execute that template. We're sending that over as post. So in that case, I'll put it here. That's stored up at the package level, so the value stored there will persist. And if we go here and there's something in there, it'll print it out. Otherwise, it won't print out anything. Localhost. So there's the data. And now if we go to catch, it shouldn't show us anything. Nothing's there. And if we go to send, it shows us that, and it sent it, and now we can see that, you know, it's printed in our console. And now if we go back to catch, right, because it's already been caught, it's not showing us. I thought it'd still be stored in this XP, the address of XP. We printed it out. Why didn't that get stored?
You didn't do a pointer.
I did right here. Why XP, it's up at the package level, and then I say put some value in it down here, right? Then we pass XP into our templates, and there is no template catch go HTML because I put it over here. So it's never serving up anything for us. So I need to put it in the right folder. So it's trying to serve something. Did it throw an error? No. Interesting. Thought I'd say that one doesn't exist. If I was looking for that. That's all in the 05, right? This is the problem, you have too many files open. So that's going to catch. There's catch. There's main. Let's try it again. Localhost. Catch should have nothing. Send it. And then catch it. Cool. That's kind of fun.
Just to clarify, you're recording that.
Yeah.
Okay. Just I'm gonna go back and
Yeah. And then, can we do anything with cookies in there? Like when we catch something, if we wanted to, we could store it in a cookie, right? And then all pages would have access to it. How would it be stored in a cookie? It needs to be a string, right? How do we take Go data and get it into a string? Let's marshal it. Right? Turn it into JSON. And then we pull it out of the cookie, we can unmarshal it. We could store it in the cookie like that. Before we were just sort of storing a UUID in a cookie. That'd be interesting. And then if we wanted to store some values in a cookie and make sure the user didn't tamper with it, what would we use? What's the tool that we use to make sure the user didn't tamper with the cookie? SHA-256 HMAC, hash-based message authentication code. Right? Awesome. That's great remembering that. You don't have to necessarily know how to code it from memory. Man, you know how to go back into my code base and find the sample and put it into your code, right? And you do that enough times, you'll be like, okay, I got it. Do that for a year, and on 20 projects, you'd be like, no problem. Would you want to see it written, see playing around with cookies at all? Just a little bit of a refresher on that, or do you all want to try some coding? How many people want to just go for the cookie deal? How many people want to do coding?
cookies.
Cookies? Well, let's play with cookies. Let's see what happens. We'll do that in the next video.